Well, let's before we get to this past weekend, let's talk about your history with Sergey. How do you know him? How did your connection begin?
Okay. I was recruited by Egis Kalimas, which Egis Kalimas is his manager. He's also my manager too now. He recruited me in Marina Del Rey at one of my boxing studios I have, where I train people, box, and so forth. But the funny thing about it was, I didn't know who Egis was until I was looking. I went to that Gary Russell Lomachenko fight at the Carson Hub.
Right.
And right. And I saw him in the ring after the fight, translating for Lomachenko, because Lomachenko doesn't speak good English.
Yep.
Right. And so I ended up seeing him the next morning in the studio. Egis works out like 5 in the morning every morning. He's very dedicated towards his workout.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked up to him and I said, "Hey man, I introduced myself. I gave him my business card. I said, "Hey man, I'm a boxing trainer. I wanna become more professional with it. I said I could be one of the best. I think I need your help. With your help, I could become better. I could be a really good guy in boxing." He looked at me like, "Oh, dude, oh really?" I was like, "Yeah." So he took my card. Him and his wife actually used to watch my boxing workouts, man, like every morning.
Wow.
They watched me for about 5 months.
Nice.
So I got the feeling that, Egis was probably already plotting, but luckily what happened was Sergey got bored with his old strength and conditioning coach. And so what happened was Egis took my card. He also called me back like a month or two later. We sat down and interviewed me for like an hour. And we just clicked really well. He said, "I think I got a special project for you." I said, "Well, any fighters you got, man, I'll start off training B-level fighters." I already had a couple just around Venice and the California area that I was working with. And so, lo and behold, he approached me one day. He said, "Hey, man, what do you think about training Sergey Kovalev?" And I was like, I'm like the crazy Russian guy, that guy? He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, you know what? It'd be an honor to train that guy. I think I could take him to another level." And so he said, "Okay, I'm going to call you out on that." And so a little more time went by. He approached me again, asked me if I was available during the time frame for camp, and he hired me, man.
Okay.
And then I went to meet Sergey at Sergey's home right before HBO started taping us. It was a crazy moment how all that happened.
Wow. Now, what were some of the things that went on behind the scenes in training camp that people didn't get to see? I mean, how was that experience for you?
It was off the chain, man. We had a very tough, exhausting, but yet fun training camp. I went up to Big Bear early, so me and Sergey could click. And, I cooked his breakfast, his lunch, and his dinners. And, I prepped all his meals. And, we got to really get close during breakfast, lunch, and dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
When you eat dinner with a person, you really get to talk to a person, get to understand a person. And I felt like it would be really good for our communication level because, Sergey speaks straight Russian.
Right.
So, Egis always told me, don't learn Russian. You teach him English so he can get better endorsements and get better sponsorship.
Right.
So, a lot of times I would say stuff, I would kind of have to slow it down. I learned a lot about him. He learned a lot about me. We ran every morning. We just spent a lot of quality. I got to meet his wife. He got to meet, Mom. We really bonded a lot together in Big Bear. And I thought that would be key so I can figure out exactly what he wanted me to do for him as far as his body and get him stronger, getting ready for the fight.
What did you notice about him as an athlete to where things you worked on, things that separate him from other athletes? How would you describe him?
He is a very disciplined, motivated type of guy. He wanted this. But I think what really tripped him out is that we were the same type. I was very disciplined too, and I wanted it for him. I used to always motivate him like that, about telling him he could beat Bernard Hopkins. Whenever you have somebody around you that believes in you, it can kind of put you more. And then when he had the birth of his son, I think that took him over the hill. I think he would have been willing to die that night to lose that fight because he really wanted to really meet his son and greet his son with all 3 of those belts. I learned that, I didn't have to tell him to run. He would get up and do it. I would push him more, and I would want to go further. Sometimes he would have to, let's take it down a little bit. He's trying to kill me. But you know, I really learned that he was resilient. And, you know, he was a very positive person. You know, he was really focused on, you know, being a new king and handling responsibility. But within our workouts, you know, he did everything I asked him to do and then some. You know, and it was a pleasure training him, Chris. Believe me, it was a pleasure training him because that guy is a machine.
Awesome.
I would tell him some days to rest, man. He don't know about rest. You know, he would get up, do 6-7 miles running, and then get on the bike and ride around Big Bear, probably like, you know, 15 miles. He was very, how can I say this? Like, he was just a machine, Chris. I mean, he was crazy, man. We used to go hard. Every session we left puddles of sweat on the floor, and I'd have to wipe it up.
Nice. Did you connect with his trainer, John David Jackson? And what do you think about him?
John David Jackson is one of the greatest trainers to me. He's actually my mentor now because I thought it was important that me and him click, because you know how certain trainers, strength conditioning coaches get into it with the trainer.
Yeah.
I came right on in. John came up there early too, so we could all bond for the benefit of making Sergey a better fighter and giving him the belief and the confidence that we thought he could win the fight, and he did. John is such a great man, such a great trainer. I mean, I was just like a little kid. I mean, he's a 2-time world champion, man.
Oh yeah.
What else can I say? You know, I went down there, and he's like my big brother, man. Like, me and him had a lot of heart-to-heart talks about the game plan and, you know, what should be focusing on with his body. And, you know, I mean, I want to become John, to be honest with you, Chris. I really do.
Awesome.
You know, and I'm definitely riding his wing the whole way. I mean, he's just such a great guy to work with, such a teammate. I mean, I can't say nothing else, man. It was such an honor to work with John David Jackson.
Awesome. And the fight itself, you know, what do you think about how the fight played out, your view of everything, and just Sergey's big victory?
It was a magical night, man. I mean, the fight went as the game plan that John, you know, had for him. You know, he hit the body, attacked the body very well. You know, he was very careful, but yet cautious at going in with Hopkins and feinting and setting Hopkins up. I thought that he cut off the ring brilliantly. I was right there ringside. You know, he did not give Hopkins a moment to even think. You know, he was on Hopkins' butt. You know, and then I felt like Hopkins, you know, would think that he was going to tire out in the later rounds. And when I tell you I killed his cardio and his core every day, I knew he wasn't going to tire out. I knew he wasn't. I knew he was going to be there for that moment. I felt like Hopkins was going to try and break him down to 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, but I knew Sergey would be right there with his hands up, throwing them missiles at him. You know, the fight actually came out the way that I predicted. If you look at some of the other articles and stuff that I talked about with other commentators, I believe that much in him, that he was going to dominate Hopkins. I didn't think he was going to do a 12-round shutout. I didn't think that. I mean, nobody could think that. You know, Hopkins is a true legend, but when I saw the weigh-in, to me, Hopkins looked a little frail, and my guy looked fresh. I was like, okay, that's good. We're going to see how he handles these punches. And the way that Sergey attacked his body was just brilliant, man. He didn't give Hopkins a moment to set up. You know, even when he did, he was getting more rest. I felt like he was wearing Hopkins down. How did you like the fight?
Oh, I loved it, man. I loved how Sergey was so calculated. He didn't get rushed by the moment. He fought his fight. That's why I think he won. Yeah, John really worked on with him with that. You know, John always taught him to be patient, you know, set him up, but also force Bernard to fight. You know, a lot of tape that we watched, Bernard was only getting away fighting like 1 minute of the round. You know, and I felt like the last two guys he fought, they wasn't on Sergey's caliber. I felt like Bernard underestimated Sergey Kovalev a little bit. I really felt that. I felt like he thought Kovalev was a B fighter, and, you know, because there's certain guys that he fought, but, you know, that's boxing. You know, you got to beat who they put in front of you. But, you know, Sergey's had over 180 fights, you know, amateur. You know, the Russian amateurs are very serious, man. You know, and I felt like Bernard, this is how I felt, Chris. I felt like Sergey was a better boxer than a lot of people believed him to be. You know, and I felt like Bernard would underestimate him just a little bit. And, you know, after the first couple of rounds, I started looking at Bernard's face, and he was like, man, you know, he was in a war. He was in a war. It was a good fight, though, all the way around. Awesome. And, you know, last thing, just if you just want to kind of like, I know you got a clothing line and you're going to be busy following this victory. Just how could people reach out to you? What else do you got going on? And just your final thoughts on everything moving forward and what we can expect.
Okay, cool. People can hit me up on my Instagram account at GoGettersCO. That's GoGettazzCO.
Mm-hmm.
They also can hit me up on Facebook at GoGettersCEO. I got an official launch of my clothing line. Actually, the website is up now, www.gogettersco.com. It's a great clothing company. I have an athletic line coming out for all the athletes and the boxers, and the entertainment line is really good too. Moving forward, I'm back to training. I'm getting ready to train a lot of guys and amateurs. I want to fine-tune my skills to become a better boxer trainer. And then when we get that call, I'm very loyal to Team Kovalev. When I get that call, it's right back to camp and right back to work. Me and Sergey were trying to dominate for years, and we're always going to train like we're broke and we're hungry right now. We want that WC belt, so we can just be the king, Don Dada of all of it. And just a blessing. Thank you for reaching back to me, Chris.
Yeah,
I love Hustle Boss.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome.